Happy Hump Day, everybody. Thanks for watching Coast Life. We are your hosts. I'm Paige Marley.
I'm Leah Rizzo. Here we are halfway through the week.
Yeah.
We're into the fall season officially now. That happened over the weekend.
So happy.
And I remember you mentioned at the beginning of the month that you were going to try making a new soup every Sunday.
I've actually been keeping up with it.
Yeah? How many have you tried?
So proud of myself. So the first one was a creamy chicken and rice soup.
Yum.
Which my first creamy based soup I've ever made. It turned out great. 2 weeks ago I made a traditional just chicken noodle soup, just your traditional one, and then this weekend was tomato.
Yum. But you know what else we're feeling? Coast Life.
Yeah.
We always like to start the show talking about maybe something trendy,
Yeah.
something going on in the world, or sometimes locally. Speaking of locally, don't forget the Shore Living Expo. Draper Media Shore Living Expo is coming up at the Waikomico Youth and Civic Center. It's going to
Saturday.
This Saturday. So I know I'm going to be there in the afternoon. Maya's going to be there in the afternoon as well. If you're a fan of our sister show, Delmarva Life, they're all going to be there.
Yep.
Our radio teams are going to be there. So there's a lot of love happening at the Waikomico Youth and Civic Center this Saturday. Oh, and it's a free event, by the way.
Free. Yeah, hey, it's from 10 to 4. You can just stop in, leave, go back, whatever you want. A lot of people from Coast TV News will be there, and a lot of shopping. I heard even
lots of
boats
shopping.
and RVs.
Yeah.
But also just little vendor shopping as well, so everything.
Yes, a good chance to start maybe your holiday shopping while also saying hi to all of us, because we'd like to hear from you. You know?
So fun.
It really makes our day when we
is.
get to hear from you.
Yes, so make a little day trip out of it this Saturday, 10 to 4, Waikomico Youth and Civic Center.
Yes, but if you've got a young entrepreneur at home,
Yeah.
maybe somebody who's really into the idea of just making money and taking over the world, who do you think they're getting that advice from?
I would hope a reliable source, but probably, I'm going to say TikTok.
It's not necessarily that it's an unreliable source. I just think it's an unrelatable source. It's an unrealistic source in the sense that a lot of Gen Z and actually a lot of younger millennials are getting their sort of business advice from Kylie and Kendall Jenner.
I love this. And I'm a big Jenner fan. I am a Kardashian Jenner fan. But
while they are wildly successful businesswomen, I think it's sort of hard to ignore the fact that they've been given a lot in their life. They've never had to worry about failure. They've never had to worry about, if this doesn't work out, that's my whole life savings
How
that
am I
I've put
going
into
to pay
this
the
project.
bills? How
will I pay the bills?
Right.
So to hear them talk about, maybe the amount of money that you need to invest or the amount of money that you need to loan from other, loan companies, banks, businesses, it's just not the same scale that the rest of us are living, especially when you're 16, 17, 18.
No, and no one's mad at you for being born into a wealthy family. You go. Honestly, hey, I would do the same thing you guys are doing. I will say, I think Kylie is a good business owner. I mean, obviously she took off with her business, but also she had different resources than maybe some of us would have. So you take everything they say with a grain of salt, obviously, and don't get your business ideas from us. We don't know what we're talking about. But also the Jenners just have a different scale. So it's just one of those things that we always get into. It's you really got to be careful what you're taking from social media.
Yeah, you want to compare notes, maybe find a more relatable, reliable business source that's more in your circle and compare and contrast. Maybe the Jenners do say something that's really useful and you hear the same thing echoed in another book or speaker or something and you're like, okay, maybe that is actually good advice.
Right, definitely. And don't take advice from that one uncle or that one coworker who's crypto and this is where you should invest.
Always has a new business idea every 2 seconds.
Yeah, be careful with those as well.
Yeah. Also, I think sort of on the similar note of, careful what you take from social media, over half of people are saying that they need a self-care day every day. And I think this is where we have
Isn't that the dream?
We have to define what a self-care day is. Is that a whole day to yourself? Is it really just face mask, bottle of wine when you get home, watching your favorite movies? I know yesterday my self-care was wrapping myself up like a blanket in a burrito and sitting in the beanbag chair for the rest of the afternoon.
I love that. And here's my thing with self-care days. I think you should take a self-care moment every day, but it's going to look different. I don't think a self-care day means every day you're doing a face mask and you're in the bubble bath, although that counts.
Sure.
I think it could also be you're cleaning up your room.
Yes.
You're vacuuming your apartment. You're catching up on work that you need to do. Something just to help your life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think a self-care day, at least what I see on social media, is you're avoiding your problems. You're oh, I was so stressed out. I have so much to do. Let me take a bubble bath and drink wine.
Yeah, and I think it's also like sometimes the harder things to do in the day are actually the self-care moment, like eating a healthy meal.
Yes.
Sucks to cook one sometimes, you just don't feel like it. Sometimes you want to just stay in the beanbag chair, wrap like a burrito, but the actual self-care move is to make a healthy meal or eat a healthy meal. If you don't have the time to make it, you can find one. But I think self-care looks a little different to everybody, and a lot of times they're trying to like sell it to you as X amount of products, and it's just not true. I think also falling back in love with maybe hobbies that you used to have. Some of the days were like, I really wish I was painting more often, and I just don't have the like stamina to do it. But then if I actually sit down and I actually paint, I'm like, wow, that feels amazing.
Yes, that's a good point. So don't get us wrong. My self-care day Sunday morning was I made coffee, I woke up early, and I watched Love Island. And like opened up the windows. So, you know, it looks different, but just don't forget that self-care should take care of you.
You don't have to spend a lot of money for a self-care day.
Right, exactly. So I get behind that just depending on what self-care is.
Yeah, it's going to look a little different for everybody. And one more question, and a question for you too, that you can chime in on our social media. You can find us, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, we're there. What is like one of the biggest food sins that a person can commit?
There are a lot.
There are a lot.
There are a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go a little different than what you might be expecting from me here. I'm going to say the biggest food sin is not trying enough food. Ooh. If you're like a chicken tender French fry baby, get out of that. Try something new at least once.
Yeah, try everything once. And if you don't like it, you don't have to try it again.
Yes.
Or maybe you're like me and you think this time, maybe I'll like it. But peas and I just will never agree.
You don't like peas?
Don't like peas.
You know how I like to eat peas sometimes? And I already know. Our camera
weird.
guy, Jeff, is going to go, ugh. I like to eat them frozen from the bag.
What?
No, actually give it a chance. It's so good.
Like a fish? I feel like I was at the aquarium as a kid once and we threw frozen peas for the fish to eat.
I love it. So good. Try them. Or hot with butter and salt and pepper.
Yeah, okay, hot makes sense. I guess my biggest food sin, and I feel bad because I think like the first time I saw this happen, it was with like one of the kids that I babysat, so I gave him a pass because he was like 9. But like my heart, it hurt. Ketchup on pasta. And then like I've realized it's a thing that some adults do as well.
Really?
And I just, no,
that's a food sin.
Don't come at me. Even like the jarred sauce, I am not a jarred red sauce person. I think I've used like a jarred Alfredo and a vodka sauce before because I'm like, I don't know how to make those.
That's fair.
So share your biggest food sins. You can do that on our socials as well. And we'll keep the dialogue going off the air.
Yes.
But we've got a great show planned for you. Coast Life's Maya Henry is going to tell us what's coming up.
Coming up next, we're bringing in good vibes with Buddas and Beads. Learn essential get home safely tips. And Leah gets creative with Delaware Technical Community College's cooking program. All that and more when Coast Life gets back.
Coast Life is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker.
You know, one of the signs that as you start to work your way through your 20s and into adulthood is that you start getting really excited about like a favorite appliance.
Girl, I've been telling you, I'm in the middle of getting a new microwave and I get excited every day to see when it's going to come.
Yeah, I've got to really get into using my air fryer more. I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I know that like you get excited for renovations, you get excited for new appliances. Like if we could get a new oven, man. I'd be set.
I can give you air fryer recommendations. And see, I'm excited about it.
Yes.
And Leah, if you're excited for new appliances, you have to check out ADU, your appliance source. Katie Zerilli from our sister show, Delmarva Life, is checking in with them now.
A showroom that seemingly never stops.
Once they hit this back area, they're like, oh my goodness, it keeps going. And yeah, it goes back quite far.
One filled with refrigerators, stoves, washers, dryers. ADU Your Appliance Source in Easton is exactly what it sounds like.
We carry a little bit of everything. We carry from your base GE Whirlpool models all the way up to your Sub-Zeros. And we have a little bit of everything for every budget. What we pride ourselves in is really the customer experience.
Mary Massey is a client account manager. She says it all started 40 plus years ago.
And it was actually started by the father of the current owners of the board there, Tom Olaf. And when he passed, his daughters joined their appliance stores with his. Theirs was called Your Appliance Source. and his was called ADU, so they merged them together to be a family.
And ADU Your Appliance Source now has 7 stores and 7 showrooms, all to make sure folks can find exactly what they need for their homes. While the options might seem overwhelming, the friendly folks here can guide each and every customer in the direction they ought to go.
It's going to be, what size do you need? There's a lot of varying sizes. 2 is going to be, how do you entertain? Because that's going to be the max capacity that you're going to need in your refrigeration or even in your cooking. And then the 3rd option is going to be, how do you want it installed? Right now, the big thing that everybody wants is they kind of want their appliances to be hidden. And so one way to do that is to do your custom panels, have it sit flush, and you won't necessarily know that this is a fridge.
A big portion of their clientele is at the beach. In fact, Mary says they deliver to that area twice a week. Of course, different homes require different types of appliances.
If you're renting, maybe a luxury appliance isn't the right fit. Maybe a base GE or a GE profile kind of fits a better price point, serviceability, and reliability that you need for those kinds of units.
Not only does ADU Your Appliance Source offer all kinds of options, they also allow clients to customize.
Customization is really key at the beach, especially for those really nice beach homes. That way it blends in, and you're going to be able to, if you've got windows everywhere, it's not going to be like, oh look, the main focus is the kitchen. It's going to be, look at my view, look at what I can see.
And hey, just because you buy a refrigerator in one brand doesn't mean your stove has to be that brand too.
I'd say probably like 90% of people mix and match, mostly because of availability and price point. Biggest things that people like to mix and match are going to be your dishwashers and your ventilation.
For folks in the process of building a house, Mary suggests to buy your appliances early, and ADU Your Appliance Source will work with the builders.
A lot of the builders will ask their clients to come in right in the beginning of the process so we can determine what it is that you're purchasing for your home, so we can get that on order so it doesn't hold up your project.
Even though they want you to get your order in time, they refuse to rush you.
We want you to take it slow. We want you to be sure. We're not someone who wants to make money today. We want to make sure that you're happy.
Because when the customer's happy, everyone's happy.
You can't wait to get in their space, and then getting to see the pictures afterwards of like the before and after photos, and just what can really be done to transform a space is awesome. That's one of also my favorite parts, is getting to see how it transforms.
Because a transformed space is a transformed life.
Thanks, Katie. And Mary did say that it's best if you come in either with an idea that you do want or even an idea that you don't want, because they can really kind of walk you through from there what the best appliances are going to be for your home.
Good to know. I think I am one of those people. I more so know what I don't like. I need you to tell me what I will like.
Yeah, but I think knowing what you don't want gives anybody a launching point of like, okay, we can scratch all of this and we can start guiding you this way.
Good to know. Easy enough?
Yeah, good to know. But don't go anywhere. We've got a little more Coast Life headed your way. Are you a big fan of eclectic and unique items, whether it's little like statuettes, crystals, rings, all kinds of stuff?
Definitely. And we were talking, I haven't gotten super into crystals until my friends did, and now I love to know the meanings behind them, and it's a special thing.
Yes, well, one place in Rehoboth Beach, right on Rehoboth Avenue, where you're not even going to get a better price for crystals, is Buddas and Beads. So let's take a look.
What's better than one enchanting shop on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach with endless treasures inside? Brad Davis, owner of Buddas and Beads, has 3 stores in one.
One, we have the import store, which is crystals, rocks, bronze statues, and that we bring ourselves in from China, and it runs anywhere from a third to half, or sometimes the bead store you're going to is 3 times as much. The crystal store is twice as much than we sell it for. And then we have the antique store that's in the back here, and we buy all types of things, paintings, bronzes, oriental rugs, and we sell those too, but mainly we like to buy. But the third business is definitely the buying business. And that's what we have people come in every day, buy us, sell us gold, silver, diamonds, oriental rugs, paintings. Whatever they bring, we buy it. If your grandmom touched it, we want it.
The first thing you'll notice before you even get inside Buddas and Beads are the good vibes of the store that start at the door, which was hand-painted by Brad's sister.
The vibe of the store is good because, you know, we empower everything in the store with the heartbeat of the universe, what, you know, people call God energy. It's everywhere here. So when people come in, they can feel that. They can feel the spiritual nature of the store.
Buddas and Beads is filled with valuable treasures.
We like things of value. So, you know, gold, silver, diamonds, just like watches, we buy and sell a lot of watches. Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, but we'll buy Hamiltons, we'll buy Omegas, we'll buy pretty much anything.
Brad has spent years traveling the world, learning all there is to know about hunting down the treasures in his shop.
Well, in time you learn. You know, the school of hard knocks, if you spend your money on an item, like on a painting, and you say, oh, that turned out to be fake. Or if you buy an oriental rug and you say, oh, that rug I paid $1,000 for is dry rot, you learn that it's dry rot. You learn over a period of time what's good and what's bad.
A trip into Buddas and Beads is a trip around the world.
There's things from everywhere here. There's European things, there's Asian things, there's South American things, lots of North American things. Because we buy, like we'll buy American Indian items, we'll buy ethnographic items from anywhere in the world, textiles from anywhere in the world. But we travel ourselves overseas and buy things and bring them back.
If you're not already heading over to Rehoboth Avenue to check out Buddas and Beads, perhaps the prices will entice you, especially if you like to collect crystals.
We have the best prices in the country when it comes to buying the Buddas and Beads stuff, and that we are strong buyers of antiques, one piece or an entire estate. We're always looking to buy.
And one thing that I thought was really, really cool, Paige, is that as soon as you walk in, honestly, before you even walk in, the door even kind of sets the tone for the vibe of the store. Like that front door was hand-painted by one of his relatives,
That's
which I
really
thought was
cool.
so cool.
That's so special. And you always know that store when you're walking down that street because it is colorful and beautiful. And Leah and I were chatting too. We need to go some ring shopping.
I definitely may or may not have done some while I was there. I
Need
gotta
to
stop
go.
bringing my purse on shoots.
Great point.
But definitely check it out for yourself. And don't go anywhere because we've got some more Coast Life for you to check out when we get back.
All right, you know, here on Coast Life, every week we show you our get home safely tips. We're gonna bring it back a little bit this week, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of great safety tips, shown you a lot of great demonstrations with Chris and Ted. But Leah, you sat down with them this week and talked to them really about what is self-defense.
Yeah, because I think it's important to kind of break down the definition of self-defense before you can really wrap your head around what self-defense is, to really apply all of those safety tips that we've been teaching you. So
Yeah, definitely. So take a look at this week's safety tip. We are going to kind of remind you the basics and bring you back to what is self-defense.
on Coast Life, you know we've been showing you these get home safely tips because that's always what we want you to do, is get home safely. So we're here with Ted and Chris from Seaside Krav Maga. As always, you guys are keeping us safe out there, but we haven't really talked about what makes up self-defense. Could you break that down for us?
Sure. Self-defense really is awareness. Awareness of your environment outside and awareness of what's happening inside of you if you feel like something's wrong or something's about to happen. Maybe you're uncomfortable feelings with a situation, and we refer to that as like your gut feeling. And you want to listen to those feelings when it comes to awareness.
And self-defense is also about options. Yes, you've seen in past weeks us or you guys hitting people using improvised weapons, but what comes first? Maybe honoring your intuition so that you're not in that position. As Ted said, situational awareness. I would like you to avoid the situation. Once it happens, I want you to have the tools, if you need them, to go forward, and training is how you get those, and rehearsing over and over. But self-defense is actually a legal term. It's about protecting yourself And I'm not a lawyer, but can you justify why you did what you did?
Yeah, and the word self-defense, if you think about that, you're already behind if you're trying to defend yourself. So that's why awareness, we think of that as the first step in self-defense or self-protection. Another point, a lot of people think of a tool such as a firearm. There's a lot of people getting their concealed carry permits and things like that nowadays, but they think they're going to rely on that one tool to help them, for protection. And if that tool isn't in your hand or available, or if you haven't trained with it properly, then it's probably not going to help you, and maybe the worst thing, it could be used against you.
Yeah, staying alert, and we're going to talk about this at later segments. What are the things you do unconsciously that put you at risk? If you don't do them, it gives you a better chance of never being in the situation, and also being aware when something is about to happen so that maybe you can preempt it and deal with it early.
And we have some really great news for all the ladies out there.
Yes.
An all-women self-defense clinic coming up at Seaside Krav Maga. Please go. If you have any sort of I think I want to get into it, go check it out.
Yes, because honestly, as much as we give you these safety tips, the best way to most thoroughly learn them is to do these clinics or to sign up for classes. And I think if you do feel maybe a little intimidated or a little uncomfortable, this all-women self-defense clinic is going to be exactly what you need.
You're going to be with other women who are beginners who just want to defend themselves and their families, just like you, in that safe environment with Chris and Ted. So if you go, let us know. We are so excited for you. And don't forget, August 19th, okay, that all-women's self-defense clinic. You can find more information on that on their Facebook page. Just search Seaside Krav Maga. We'll link it to on our website, coastlife.com. Don't go anywhere. Some more Coast Life's heading your way.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Seaside Krav Maga.
Well, if you've spent some time along coastal Delmarva, especially around the Delaware Beach area, you know this time of year we start to see the jellyfish in the water.
Yeah, seen them, felt them.
Yep. All of the above. And it can be a little bit scary, especially got little kids. They don't really know what to do if they encounter a jellyfish. Well, that's why the Rehoboth Beach Patrol has us covered. Our field correspondent, Maya Henry, is checking in with them.
Guys, it is that time of the year when we go out, hang out in the waves, go to the ocean. But as we do that, it's really important to look out for something that's swimming in the ocean, which is jellyfish. And today we are with Jeff Giles, Captain Jeff Giles, and he's telling us some things that we might have not known before going into the ocean. So, Jeff, tell us about some jellyfish. What is some important facts that we need to know while in the ocean?
Well, here on the Atlantic coast, you get sea nettles, and we also have moon jellyfish. They're sort of like your mosquitoes and bees that we get on land. Same type of thing. They don't mean to sting you. They don't come after you. They go with the currents. And as we get into July and the water starts warming up, we get more of a southern current. So they start to roll in. So some, they have an irritant. Sometimes it bothers people a little worse than others, but it goes away. Okay. It's more of a nuisance. You can spray vinegar and water mix. We do that here at the Beach Patrol. We call it our TLC spray. You sort of know what that means.
Tender love and care.
Yeah, it is. And we spray that on, and that usually gives some relief over time, but it doesn't last that long. And if it does, go check in at like a nearby clinic, and more likely take some Benadryl, and it usually goes away. But it's more of a nuisance.
Okay, but can people prevent it?
No, I mean, a jellyfish sting's a jellyfish sting. So as the guards go out every day in the water, sometimes they're like, hey, it's a little worse today than the other days. If it bothers them bad enough, they'll spray themselves with some vinegar and water. So it's not bad. It's not bad.
So what are some things that people can look out for when swimming in the ocean?
Well, first, I tell everybody, don't swim alone. Swim with someone else. Always swim on a guarded beach. Make sure that there's a lifeguard there. And especially now you're getting in August, we're getting to that point where a lot of the lifeguards going back to college, going back to high school. So make sure that your beach has a lifeguard on it. So we're sort of, we start limiting our size of the beach because we start to lose lifeguards. Lifeguarded beach, swim with a partner.
Nice.
And if you're not familiar with the rip currents and it's a rough day, stay at ankle deep, knee deep, and enjoy yourself.
Okay, and I heard there's like an old myth. So sometimes when people get stung, they used to, urinate on it. Is that still a thing that happens, or are we done with that?
I've heard that before, and you can use like a credit card to scrape out the itch.
Okay.
But the vinegar and water works pretty good. I don't think we have to go to extremes. And again, it's temporary. It won't last that long.
Okay. And does it have any after effects when you get stung, or is it just you get stung and you're kind of done with it?
Get stung, it's a nuisance. It's going to be around for a little bit, maybe a half an hour, and it will start to go away. Also, get some fresh water, rinse off with some fresh water, and spray some vinegar and water, and things will get better.
All right. Is there anything you would like to add while people are enjoying their summer before it concludes?
No, just have fun, be careful, swim with a partner, and swim on a guarded beach.
All right, guys, you heard it first from Mr. Jeff Giles. Protect yourself this summer and stay away from those jellyfish. Paige and Leah, there's more Coast Life on the way.
You're watching Coast Life, and as I'm sure you're aware by now, you know we love a good meal. And one of the community members responsible for inspiring a lot of good meals in the area is Chef Joe with Delaware Technical Community College. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us in your kitchen here. So you are in charge of the culinary program that
Yes,
a lot of students work their way through and then into the culinary world.
Yes. Yes. So we've been at this for a couple of years now. I think since here in Dover since 2006. So we graduate an average of 12 to 15 students a year.
Nice. And you're the one leading them through this, which means you've got the culinary skills yourself.
Yes.
So you're going to be making a dish you're letting me help you make a dish today.
Correct.
What are we making here?
So we are going to make a classic shrimp mousse crab cake. I know because we are from the Delmarva region.
Yes.
It's classic to have a crab cake, but everyone does a crab cake a little bit different, and everyone has their opinion. But this is a recipe I learned when I was at the Hotel DuPont, and I believe it came back from Le Bec Vin and George Perrier many years ago. I'm sure it's not exactly the same, but it's as close as we can get it. So it's basically a shrimp mousse, and we're going to fold in some lump crab meat, and we're going to saute it, and we're going to finish it with a little bit of whole grain mustard sauce to complete it.
It's already watering. All right, so where do we start?
Okay, so we're going to start by, we're going to add the shrimp into the Roboku, and then we're going to process that. Then we're going to add the seasoning, and we're going to process that. The idea is you're going to make a mousse, so you want to make it smooth and silky.
Got it.
That's the idea behind it.
All right.
So process it. There's the puree, the process. So the kitchen's, this is the kitchen. This is where all of their labs are taken care of.
Yeah.
So they start, then it takes about 2 years to do the program, and they spend the entire 2 years working out of this kitchen. There's 6 major labs, 15 weeks long. But they start, they're very green and inexperienced, but by the time they leave, they all have jobs. They're all experienced working somewhere.
That's awesome. All right, so we've got our shrimp pureed.
Correct. So we're going to add the egg to it. Just drop the 1 egg.
1 egg.
Okay, the 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire in the back.
That's this guy. All right. Worcestershire, stir. Said it right.
You did. You didn't say it wrong, that's for sure.
Okay.
The Tabasco.
Tabasco, ooh.
And then the Dijon. And we'll go ahead and we can add the cream.
Okay. I don't know why I like to go around the circle like that.
Perfect. Well, that's exactly what we all do.
Makes me feel official.
Okay, we'll drop the lid back on, and then we will process until smooth.
Yeah.
So the idea is to puree, process everything together without breaking it, without separating the cream from the other product.
That makes sense.
The egg is the binder, and the mustard is the binder. So you have 2 things heavily binding. So you don't have very good odds of breaking it. But if you notice, the 2 things that I did, this came out of the refrigerator ice cold. My shrimp is ice cold, and my cream is ice cold. So then we're going to take this and we're going to fold this. And the things that we teach here is focusing on fresh ingredients. And anytime you're working with fresh ingredients, it takes a little bit more time. You know, it's when you're making a fresh basil pesto, you're either growing the pesto, you're growing the basil, and then you're making the pesto. Versus in industry, sometimes they buy it to make shortcuts. But when you're making it fresh, you know exactly what's going in. So you have somebody come in with an allergy or an intolerance. It's very easy to say, hey, I can tell you exactly this has this, this, and in it. You don't go back and have to search the ingredient list on the bottle of pesto that you bought.
That makes sense.
So, and then we're going to add some of these scallions.
All right.
Good fold.
Oh, they smell amazing. That's the other difference too, I think, with fresh ingredients, where like sometimes store-bought or things that have been sitting around a while, you don't smell it just.
No, you don't.
Like just by cutting it.
That fresh, yes, and that's why you kind of hold up, and I like to do things as last minute as possible sometimes.
That makes sense.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw this in the refrigerator for about an hour to let it set. And then we're going to get a saute pan. We're going to saute till brown on both sides. Shoot it in the oven until it comes to 155 degrees.
Nice. So we'll let TV Magic handle some of that, but don't go anywhere because we're going to put together more of this crab cake when we get back. Before the break, we were in the process of making a mouth-watering crab cake. We put it in the fridge for our hour, and we're ready to fry, right?
Correct.
All right. So where do we start?
All right, so we have the shrimp mousse crab cake here, and then we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pan, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. What we're going to do is I use a ring mold. You don't have to use a ring mold. So it goes into a nice little ring mold, and then I have a nice blue scoop that fits perfectly into it.
Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, there we go.
So that's that little sizzle we're looking for. So I'm not looking for a lot of color. I want it to be a little bit brown.
That's right, because this has another step too.
It does have another step. So I just lift the metal thing and try to get under there with my, so then I'm going to turn around and flip that. Make sure if I don't get under there and it doesn't flip, then it's all for naught. The reason I use the ring mold also is because it keeps the height. Sometimes if you don't use the ring mold, as it gets warm, it kind of starts to flatten. And I like the plate appearance to be a little bit higher with this as well. So we're going to spend another 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then we're going to go on to a nice sizzle pan, a little bit of oil on it. And then we're going to shoot that right in the oven for about 12 minutes.
So this is a mustard sauce, right?
This is a whole grain mustard sauce, correct.
So where do we start?
So leaving off from the pan we used to saute the shrimp. That's why the shrimp is in the oven without the pan.
Yeah.
We're going to add some shallots to it, some finely diced shallots.
My favorite sound.
All right, there's the sizzle. Sizzle we're all looking for. So we're not looking for any color here. We're just looking for a little start to soften it up, and then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of white wine, and then 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar.
I'm serious. I wish you could smell it through the camera because every ingredient that we've used so far smells so amazing.
My favorite thing about teaching the students is watching them really get that aha movement of connection. And sometimes that doesn't happen right away. Sometimes the students they're in a pass where they don't really know exactly what they want to do. But if I can connect them with a chef in the outside world that can really help develop their skills. And every student is a little bit different. Some students need, that hands-on.
A little more hand-holding.
Yes. And then some students need to be let go.
Yeah.
They need to be, and they want that, I'm ready. They think they're ready to be executive chefs coming out. Which is the world that we live in today.
Sure.
Right? As this is starting to boil, we're going to go ahead and add the cream.
Perfect. Delish.
Just swirl it around a little bit.
Basically, all my favorite ingredients are going into this dish so far. We've got a few more things. We're ready to plate pretty much here. So what do we got to do?
So, all right, we're ready to plate. So I made a little a roasted corn salad. So I just took the little garlic oil and salt and pepper and a little paprika and chili powder, and I roasted the corn with that, and then it came out of the oven. I took it off the cob, mixed it up with some roasted peppers and a little bit of leek and some parsley, just to make it a nice quick little sweet corn to go with that sweet crab. So we're going to go ahead and plate it up. We can grab the crab cake out of it. Here's the
towel.
It's kind of important.
That is important. Yep.
Do I set it right here?
Set.
Okay, so we're going to start with, I have a little mixed greens for the base.
Cute.
So typically, we are starting with the process of not going in the center of the plate, so we try to do 2/3 of the plate with the food. It's something that we're, the process, that seems like the energy is going there with the industry.
Gotcha.
So we're going to take this roasted corn salsa and kind of drop it right there. I like to add quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just because it's...
I love, we talked about too, the sort of the visual aspect of plating, but not only are all these ingredients delicious, but they're very visual too.
They are very, correct. They have to be, the idea is that you're pleasing your palate.
Yeah.
And when you're plating, you like to see a contrast of colors. You also like to see a contrast of textures. You notice when I add a fried leek to it at the end, it's that crispness that we're kind of looking for.
Yeah. What's next?
So we're going to turn around and just put a little of these.
Alrighty.
Right in here.
1 and 2. A little off kilter action. Good,
Yeah, just
good.
a little bit. And then what we're going to do is add a little leek to that. Fried leek for texture and height.
Beautiful.
All right. And then we're going to add, I have a little basil oil I made. So it's just,
look at that
I add
color, man.
a bright color.
It's beautiful.
So I like to go on the edge because I'm still going to put the hot sauce right in the middle.
Okay.
So we're going to go on the outside edge.
So you make it look so easy. I feel like if I did that, I'd look like a kindergartner.
And then we're going to plop this, and then right before it goes out to the customers, then we hit the hot sauce. And then we're going to take
Beautiful.
this.
I'm just so caught up. Nice.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. Beautiful. So not only does it looks amazing, it smells amazing. Can I taste amazing?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. All right. We're gonna get to tasting, my favorite part. All right. Crab cake, sauce. Oh my God. I mean, when you're talking about fresh seafood, all of the flavors from the sauce all play really well together. This oil is amazing. I'm gonna try it with some of the corn too. But those fresh ingredients, man, they really make
a difference, right?
Such a difference. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm having the best day. That was
Thank
fantastic,
you very much.
sir. Thank you, thank you. So keep in mind, if you do have a kid who's really interested in culinary arts or they're really kind of taking to cooking, this is a great program for them to explore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's more amazing meals and amazing things to explore coming your way with more Coast Life. So don't. All right, Coast Life. We always have so much fun hanging out with you every day, but every day that hour comes to a close.
Sometimes,
But before we go, we want to remind you that the Shore Living Expo is coming up this Saturday at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center. It's going to be a great event. It's free. There's tons of vendors, so you can do a little bit of shopping, maybe on several kinds of scales. You know, you can sort of do the small scale shopping of clothes and vendors and crafts, but then there's also maybe you've got some bigger outdoor hobbies, boats, RVs. There's a lot that's going to be there.
There is. I think if you have any sort of idea, any hope or want or wish to redo your home, to redo your kids' rooms or your kitchen, just stop by, check it out, because it's one of those things where it's all in one stop. You know, you have to go to a bunch of different stores. Everything's right there. You can get quotes, you can talk to vendors, so it really is helpful.
Yes, and I mean, you know, all those vendors are so nice and friendly, and so you're going to get any answers to any questions that you might have. On top of that, it's also a great chance for us to meet you, our viewers. I know I'm going to be there in the afternoon. Maya's going to be there. If you're big fans of our sister show, Delmarva Life, Jimmy, Lisa, Katie, they're going to be there. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. Our radio guys are going to be there too. Friends from our Coast TV.
It's free.
It's free. That's right. So you don't have to pay anything to walk through those doors.
So yes, Saturday, 10 to 4, Wicomico Youth and Civic Center. Just don't forget about it. Add it to your calendar.
Yes.
Okay.
That is about